Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, June the 24th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Let's start with the NHL hockey, where the Chicago Blackhawks are one win away from the Stanley Cup Championship. They beat the Boston Bruins on Saturday night 3-1. They go up 3-2 in the series. Game 6 tonight in Boston. It's been a back-and-forth series. Momentum shifts both ways. You know, it's funny, after Game 3, when Boston won 2-0, you thought Boston was in control of the series. They were up 2-1. They just shut out Chicago. Hossa was hurt, and Chicago showed a lot of grit, won that 6-5 game in overtime in Game 4, and Chicago comes back home on Saturday, beats the Bruins 3-1 to go up 3-2 in the series. Chicago one win away from the Stanley Cup Championship. Game 6 tonight, like I said. I expect Boston to win tonight. I think it's that type of series, back and forth. If these two teams played 100 times, I think they each would win 50. I expect Boston to stay alive tonight and win at home and force a Game 7 in Chicago on Wednesday night, which would be tremendous theater. I'm pulling for that. I hope Boston wins tonight and we get a Game 7 in Chicago. That would be really, really exciting stuff. So Game 6 tonight in Boston, Chicago, one win away from the Stanley Cup Championship. Let's do a quick recap of the Major League Baseball series over the weekend. How about the Toronto Blue Jays? They dust Baltimore over the weekend. They sweep Baltimore. Toronto has won 11 straight games. They are 2 games over 500. Remember, before this streak, they were 9 under. They've won 11 in a row. They are 2 over 500. Toronto is on absolute fire. Encarnacion hitting home runs left and right. You know, I don't know what they're doing in Toronto, but whoever gets to Toronto seems to become a home run hitter. Encarnacion, Batista, I mean, they hit the long ball like nobody else, Toronto. What a lineup they have. And if they get Reyes back, they'll be even that much stronger. Now, they still have work to do, Toronto. Tough division, a lot of good teams in that division. You got Boston, you got Baltimore, you got the Yankees, you got Tampa, so a tough division, but they are also in the hunt for the wild card. So Toronto has done a tremendous job. They just dusted Baltimore over the weekend. Cleveland took 2 or 3 from Minnesota, no surprise there, really. Detroit took 3 or 4 from Boston. Nice job by Detroit. Scherzer goes to 11-0 for Detroit. Washington and Colorado split their 4-game series. Nationals won the first 2. Colorado won the last 2. Washington just can't put anything together. They've just been stumbling and bumbling all year. I thought Washington would be one of the better teams in baseball. They just cannot score enough runs. Now, Wirth is hurt again. I mean, they still don't have Harper back. I don't know what's going on with Washington this year, but they just cannot put anything together offensively. The Mets took 2 or 3 from Philadelphia. Philadelphia is another team that can't get out of their own way. I thought a couple weeks ago when they went over 500, they were going to start to do something. They've fallen flat on their face, Philadelphia. How about Harvey for the Mets? He has been spectacular this year. What a nice pitcher the Mets have. And if Wheeler becomes the pitcher we think he is, the Mets could have Harvey and Wheeler as a 1-2 combination. That's a good, good recipe for the future for the Mets. So we'll keep an eye on that. But Harvey's been spectacular for the Mets. New York and Tampa Bay, they split 4 games over the weekend. The White Sox took 2 or 3 from Kansas City. Not a good job by the Royals there. You got to take care of business against a bad White Sox team. The Royals were playing decent ball, but you can't lose 2 out of 3 to Chicago. Milwaukee took 2 or 3 from Atlanta. Atlanta is not playing as well as they did earlier in the season, not scoring a lot of runs. Jay Upton not hitting the home runs at the pace he was earlier in the regular season. Cubs took 2 or 3 from hapless Houston. Pittsburgh swept the Angels. What is going on with the Angels? Pittsburgh gets 3 in the 9th to tie last night, then gets 4 in the 10th, and they hold on. You know, the Angels rallied in their half of the 10th inning, but Pirates hold on and win. What an awful loss for the Angels. They not only get swept at home, but they blow a 3-run lead in the 9th inning. The Angels can't get out of their own way. I'll tell you, the Angels, the Phillies, and the Dodgers, I mean, they just cannot get out of their own way, these teams. Also last night, Miami took 3 out of 4 from San Francisco. San Francisco really struggling. Miami is playing a little better. Listen, Miami's one of the worst teams in baseball. They are playing a little better recently. San Francisco not firing on all cylinders, not playing their best ball. They've kind of been stuck in mud this year. We'll see if they can turn it around. They have time. Seattle beat 2-3 from Oakland. That was a little bit of a surprise. San Diego and the Dodgers split their 4-game series. Arizona took 2-3 from the Reds. The Reds did salvage a game last night. Good job by Arizona winning that series. And Texas went into St. Louis and swept the Cardinals, and they beat Wainwright. Not easy to do. I mean, nice job by Texas going on the road into a National League ballpark, dusting St. Louis and beating Wainwright. Nice job by the Rangers. So that was kind of some of your Major League Baseball. As far as boxing over the weekend, I did catch some boxing on Showtime on Saturday. Broner in Brooklyn wins a split decision over Malignaggi. I had it 8-4 for Broner. I didn't think the fight was as close as the judges thought. I mean, to me, though, Broner has got to stop his clowning around act. I mean, he does more talking and clowning in the ring. He's a tremendous talent, but please, pipe down already. I mean, his antics are just so unlikable. He's got a tremendous amount of ability, but his antics, he's too much of a clown. I had him clearly winning. I thought the fight was 8-4. I didn't think it was a split decision at all. I don't know what the judge who thought Malignaggi won the fight was watching. I thought Broner clearly landed the harder punches. Nice crowd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Again, they are doing a nice job coming out for boxing, Brooklyn, and that is a beautiful arena. If you're ever in the New York, Brooklyn area, please check out the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, a gorgeous arena. Also, a couple of notes from the NBA over the weekend. Doc Rivers, he goes to the Clippers. The Clippers and the Celtics finally work out that deal. They've been talking about it for 2 weeks. So Doc Rivers becomes the Clippers coach. I think that's a good move for the Clippers. Doc Rivers had to get out of Boston. I like Doc Rivers. I think he's a very good coach. They needed a change in Boston. They need to rebuild. They have a bunch of old elephants on that team. He goes to a Clipper team now that can do things. Chris Paul looks like he's going to stay with the Clippers. We'll see what happens with Blake Griffin, if the Clippers are going to keep him or try and trade him to the Lakers for Dwight Howard. Keep an eye on that. Also keep an eye on where Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce end up. I think they're done in Boston. They would like to play together. That's easier said than done. We'll see if the Clippers revisit trying to get, Kevin Garnett. They were trying to get him a couple weeks ago. We'll see if they can try and get him in a separate deal. So keep an eye on that. Okay, as far as tonight, what to watch, it is an NHL hockey night tonight. Chicago at Boston, Game 6. Chicago trying to win the series, win the Stanley Cup. Boston trying to stay alive and force a Game 7 on Wednesday. Must watch hockey. I don't care if you're a hockey fan or not. Please tune into this game. It is riveting stuff. I mean, tremendous stuff. Must watch TV and enjoy it now, because the most we're going to get is 2 more hockey games, and then we are done with hockey for a while, and all we're going to have left is baseball the rest of the summer. So enjoy these hockey games while they last. Baseball, very light night in baseball. There's only 4 games. Cleveland and Baltimore, Toronto at Tampa. We'll see if Toronto can continue their winning ways. San Francisco and the Dodgers continue their great rivalry. And Philadelphia and San Diego. Also, College World Series tonight starts. Best of 3. UCLA against surprising Mississippi State. I didn't think Mississippi State was going to get this far. They did. They look really, really good. Some people have called them the favorites in this series. I'm still going to stick with UCLA. I picked them before the College World Series. I'm going to stick with them, although I've been very impressed with Mississippi State. They look like a handful. So College World Series starts tonight. Best of 3, UCLA, Mississippi State. If you've never watched the College World Series, take a peek at it. Very nice event. Also, Wimbledon started today. Ho-hum yawn. The thing about tennis, here's the problem I have with tennis. There is no depth in the women's or the men's game. You don't have to watch the first week and a half of tennis in any big tournament. The same group of players make it to the semifinals and the finals on the men's and the women's side. I mean, let me guess. Serena Williams is going to play Sharapova again in the final and beat her. And let me guess on the men's side, it's either going to be Nadal or Federer or Murray or the same cast of 3 or 4 guys that gets to the semifinals, the finals, and wins it. To me, that's no good for tennis. You need some new young blood in tennis. I am sick of the same players over and over again getting to the finals. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Nadal just won the French Open for what? The 450th time in a row? I mean, it's just ridiculous after a while. Need some new blood in women's and men's tennis, please. Get out there, people. Young people, get out there and start playing tennis. We need some new young blood. I will say this about Wimbledon. They do it the right way. To me, tennis is meant to be played on grass. That's the way it should be. There should be more grass courts out there. The U.S. Open should go to grass. The Australian Open should definitely go to grass. I mean, you want to keep the French Open on clay? Okay, Wimbledon does it right. To me, tennis should be played on grass. So they do it right in that aspect. But to me, these early rounds of Wimbledon, ho-hum, yawn, we know who's going to win. All right, so you guys are set. You guys are all caught up. Enjoy the NHL game tonight. It should be spectacular. I'm going to be back with you Wednesday. We're either going to be talking about a Chicago Blackhawk victory and a Stanley Cup championship or a big Game 7 on Wednesday night. Also in the NBA today, the Miami Heat have their parade down in Miami. If you are attending the parade, please behave. No shenanigans at the parade. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the parade. No shenanigans down there. I don't want to hear about any incidents down in Miami. Okay, you guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Enjoy the NHL tonight. I will be back with you Wednesday. We'll recap it all. Talk to you then. Take care.